Hi, and we are live and we are continuing with Psalm 91, and today we are doing verse 15, and let's read that together. He shall call upon me. This is God. Remember, we started last week with verse 14. 14, 15, and 16 is God's response to the writer of Psalm 91, and we read verse 14 last week, and verse 15 says, He shall call upon me being God, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. So let's quickly look at the different words. The he shall call is a verb. It's in the imperfect aspect, meaning it's a continuing action. It's not something once of action that's been finished. And that means to call out to, but it refers to calling out to, when you look at the context of the word, calling out to someone you recognize, someone you've met, someone you know. So it's calling out to someone you recognize, someone that you've met before. Okay, then I will answer. That is also the imperfect aspect, and it means to, it's got three sections to it. It means to hear, right? To heed that someone is calling, then to turn and pay attention to who's calling, and then to respond. By implication, to respond by extension of beginning to speak. So that is that verb of I will answer. And then the word trouble there refers to, and I found this interesting, it refers to tightness, as in figuratively as in trouble, but it refers to tightness. It can also refer to adversary, affliction, anguish, or distress, or tribulation. And then the adjective of the root of that word means narrow, and the noun means a tight place. So it's talking about tightness, narrowness, a narrow place, a tight place. That's the word trouble. Then it says, I will deliver him. Now that word deliver is different from the word deliver that we read in verse 2, where it says, surely he shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler. It's a different root word. As well as the deliver in verse 14, it's a different root word. This word deliver means to pull off, hence intensely to strip, or to depart. So it's more talking about where verse 2 is talking about more of setting free and rescuing. This is talking about stripping or pulling off. That is what that word deliver means. And it's interesting, we'll get to that. And then it says, I will deliver him and honor him. That word honor is also an interesting root verb because it means heaviness. It means to be heavy. It can be in a good sense and a bad sense. In this case, it's in a good sense. It can refer to numerous, to rich, to honorable, but it means to make weighty, to make heavy. And that's interesting because it's the same verb that was used in Exodus 14 verse 4. And I want to read that to you quickly. Let's quickly go there. And it says, Exodus 4, I will harden Pharaoh's heart so that he will pursue them. And remember, Psalm 91 was written by Moses just after they've left Egypt in the desert and he was building the tabernacle. And now that word honor in Exodus 14 is when Moses is busy leading out the Israelites into the desert, but they come to the Red Sea. And he's saying there, I will harden Pharaoh's heart so that he will pursue them, and I will gain honor over Pharaoh and over all his army, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord. And they did so. So he's saying there, he hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he could put his honor upon him. And remember, this word honor means weighty, to put his weight. In another translation, it says, he honored Pharaoh so that that Pharaoh would reveal his glory. In other words, he used that situation to reveal his glory, that he may be honored. So let's discuss this quickly. It says that when we call upon him, he shall call upon me and I will answer him. So this call, like we said, it's calling to someone we know. So that means when we call upon God from a place of relationship, a place of calling him by his name, knowing him, knowing who he is, he heeds the call, right? He turns his attention towards us, and then he responds and answers us. Like a friend calling to a friend, that maybe you're walking on the street and you see your friend, you call them by name, they turn around, they pay attention to you, and then they answer you because there's a mutual relationship. So when we call upon him, he responds to us, and that's why it says, I will answer. And then it says, I will be with him in trouble. And we know that word trouble means a tightness, a place of distress, a place of discomfort, a place of anxiousness where we might feel boxed in. And I think that's how the Israelites felt when they were busy moving from Egypt, a place of bondage, moving out, and then they get to their barrier, the Red Sea. So it's got the Red Sea on the one side, the Egyptians on the other side. I'm sure they felt boxed in. I'm sure they felt in a narrow space or a tight space. And he says, I will be with you in trouble. I will be with you when you feel boxed in, when you feel constricted, when you feel like you're in a tight space. And then it says, I will be with you. In other words, I will bring peace, right? And it says, I will deliver you. Now that word deliver is also, like I said, the imperfect aspect. It's a continuous action. And remember we said deliver in this sense means to strip off. So you can imagine if there's a tightness around you, and he says, you might be in a tightness, you might be in trouble, in a narrow place, but I will deliver you. I will strip off the constrictions. I will strip off the tightness. I will pull off whatever it is that's making you feel boxed in. I will pull off the anxiousness and bring you peace. And that is when he delivers us from trouble. And then he says, I will honor you. And that means making us heavy. And this is something that's a bit difficult for me to explain, but that honor means to make heavy, to be heavy. So he's saying, I will honor you. So I think the best way for me to explain this is, when does something feel heavy? When do you experience the presence of something? When it's upon you, right? And it says in Exodus, he made his honor upon Pharaoh. So in other words, his presence and his glory became known, was felt because of his heaviness, his honorableness. Like when someone important walks into the room, there's a heaviness upon them because of whatever it might be. They might be well known or rich or important, but it's that kind of heaviness, that importance, that glory of God. So he says, I will honor you. And remember I said, when does something feel heavy? When it's on top. So he says, I will deliver you from trouble. So I will pull off the restrictions and the constrictions, and then I will place you on top. I will honor you so that your heaviness will be felt in your situation, right? So it says, he strips off the constrictions, he sets us on top of our situation, on top of the adversary, whatever it might be, and then our weight is known, our presence is known. And this again speaks about a higher place. Remember in the previous verses we talked about, he will exalt us on high, he will set us on high, that we are in a higher place. And when we are dwelling in the secret place, it's in a higher place. So he's saying, whenever we feel like we're in trouble, like we're constricted, like we can't breathe, like the Israelites felt with the Egyptians on the one side and the Red Sea on the other side, when we call upon him from a relationship, from intimacy, calling him by name, he pays attention, he responds to us. And then he's with us in the trouble. He strips off the restrictions. He delivers us from the trouble, and he sets us on high. He makes us heavy. He makes us important. He makes us One of the words means honorable, numerous, rich. He sets us above, right? Like that word that says we are the head and not the tail. And he makes his heaviness known. He makes us known, and his glory is revealed. And there's another Psalm, Psalm 50, verse 15, where he confirms this. Now I want to read that to you as well. 50, verse 15 says, "Call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver you, and you shall glorify me." I want to read that again because it sums it up so nicely. "Call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver you, and you shall glorify me." So that is what today's verse is all about. He says, "Call upon me. I will answer you." That's the first promise. "I will be with you in trouble," the second promise. "And I will deliver you and honor you." And that is something that we can hold on to. And at the end of the day, it will be for his glory. And we are so fortunate that we can stand in relationship with him, that when we feel restricted, when we don't know which way to go, when we're feeling anxious, that we can call out to the Lord, and we know that he will respond, that he will answer us, that he is with us, and that he will deliver us and honor us. Amen. So be blessed. We are doing the last verse next week, verse 16, and then we are done with Psalm 91. So I will see you again next week. Okay, bye.